Yes, hello and welcome again to the Christmas plotting party. My name is Susan Graul and I'm very happy to have you here. Thank you very much for joining our little party, and I am super happy to have another special guest with us today, and her name is Miriam Thiel, and I'm going to open the door really wide today because Miriam is kind of bringing a friend of her to the party. It's Arrow, and well, let's just open the door now. Ding dong, Miriam, come on in.
Hi, Susan.
Hello. Where's your horse, Miriam?
Wait for the horse. I just have a little picture here from Golden Arrow. You can see him there because he's a little bit busy outside in the field. So, but I do have a special message from him that I got this morning. So he's here in spirit. He couldn't, he couldn't fit into my apartment. But I'm really happy to be here and to be talking to you about the whole process and my film.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear how it all came together because to me it's like, how did you do that? It was just, an idea, and then it was on the film festival in New York, and how did it come together? But maybe, Miriam, do you want to say something about yourself first so that the other people know where you come from and what you do?
Okay, so I introduced myself very sort of shortly. I'm actually from Germany. I grew up in Bremen, and I went to film school in Hamburg. And 3 years ago, I moved to Denmark to teach at the European Film College, and I did that for 2 years. And then I was given a horse for free, and that's how my journey with my horse started. His name is Golden Arrow. I call him Arrow for short. And he was untrained, and I was untrained as a trainer. So I didn't know how to train a horse, and my horse didn't know how to be a riding horse, basically. And so we started. This is nearly 2 years ago when I got Golden Arrow. And last summer I made a film about our journey together, and that was just shown at the Equus Filmfestival in New York and this November. And so it's a short documentary. It's 23 minutes, and the title is Talking to Golden Arrow.
Yeah, fantastic. I had the pleasure of watching it last night because you were so kind to give me the link, and I think it really is a beautiful film. It's a documentary, as you said, and I had, I know Miriam for about 4 years now, and we met at the Berlinale, I think, in Berlin. And some people come and go into our lives and out of our lives, and we just kept in touch. And I once visited you in Denmark also, and you were just getting into the horse topic again, like you did it as a child, and then you had the chance to get into it again. So, and now there's this movie, and I wanted to ask you, how did you start about thinking, I need to do a documentary about Arrow and your way with it, with him?
It actually started as a different project, and this is sometimes what happens. But it all basically started when I finished my work contract at the film college. And over a sudden I had some time to think about, is there something that I wanted to do? Because before, I mean, those 2 years was so packed. I was so busy the whole time. And I had met an animal communicator in Thiel, Charlotte, and over a sudden I thought this would be really interesting to do this course, talking to animals. I mean, this is weird. It's weird. It's like, it sounded weird. And when I talked to her and I visited her, I was like, okay, I mean, there's nothing to lose. If it works, it's great. And if it doesn't work, we have a weird time together. So I didn't have any expectations to, that I could be communicating with animals. I was just really curious. And the course was just like, on weekends, I would go over to Shetland to visit her and to have the one-to-one tuition with her. And of course, having Golden Arrow, my horse, and we were just at the beginning of the training, and I thought, maybe I'll ask him. I'll try the communication on my horse. It is actually quite hard to talk to your own animals because the energetic fields are very close together. So sometimes it's a bit like it's harder to talk to somebody in your family and understand them, right, than to talk to somebody who's not very close to you, because sometimes things get in the way. And it's the same with animals, because you want the best for the animals and you don't want to sometimes hear that the animals have issues. So anyway, so I knew that, and but I thought I'll just try. So, and he's not a communicative horse. He's not a horse that gives me like messages all the time or tells me things. So I was like, okay, Golden Arrow, here's, I'm trying, I'm doing this, and it's like my homework. And, what would you like me to know? And he said to me, and I could hear it, I could really hear it. He said, I want to be in a movie. And I was like, oh my God, my horse wants to be in a movie. So that was the start. That was not this summer, it was last year summer, 2014.
Yeah. So you followed your curiosity, and then you practiced it a bit, and then you had this kind of message from your horse. Okay.
And then I thought, okay, so my horse wants to be in the movie. I'm a script writer, and why not make a film? And then I thought maybe we'll make a film where we show with the healing, because I was practicing the healing on him, how the healing could support, training a horse, and how the healing could change him into, becoming calmer, because he wasn't calm at the beginning. He was quite wild, actually. He would jump up and do the rearing, and so it was because he didn't know what this whole thing was, and he was not trusting. He was he was a little bit anti. So, and then I thought, okay, so I submitted to a film fund here in Denmark, and then I submitted it to a film fund in Germany, and I said, I want to make this documentary about how healing could help you train your horse, and how a wild horse, becomes calmer and is not so wild. The film funds were like, this is not something that we want to support, so they weren't interested at all.
Okay.
So they didn't give me any money. And then I thought, okay, so that was the winter, and then I was like, okay, so maybe we can't do it. And I was thinking, and then all of a sudden I thought, okay, I have a friend in Bremen, and he's a cameraman. And I thought, okay, let's ask him. That's Stefan, who ended up doing the camera, the DOP. And I said to him, look, I don't have any money. The expenses that we have, of course I'm going to cover. So what I can offer you is like a mini vacation in Denmark, and some fun, hopefully. And so he said, yeah, I'll come for 2 weeks to Denmark, and we can film. And so that was when it became sort of real.
Yes.
And the funny thing was, just we were still, I wrote a screenplay, because I thought, let's be kind of quite clear about what we want and where we're going. And I thought, I had never done a documentary, so me coming from fiction screenplays, I thought, let's write everything down. And so I had this story figured out, and then my horse, Golden Arrow, decided not to be wild anymore just before the filming, and I was like, okay, we don't have a story.
Oh.
We had nothing.
And one question, if I just may interrupt there a little bit. When you had the script, was it, because in the end it is a very personal film, it tells a story about your childhood and your parents and how you healed yourself also with these interactions with Arrow. Was it, as the written screenplay, was it already such a personal story, or did that change later?
No, the story basically that I had written was still the story about having a wild horse, getting healing, showing like how Charlotte was teaching me the healing, and we were thinking about making, faking the whole thing because we hadn't started filming when he was still wild, and I mean, of course, you can make a horse look wild. Certain things horses are really afraid of, such as plastic bags or whatever. You can just like rustle them and they go like, oh my God.
Okay.
So that was the idea. And that was the story that I had written. And so then Stefan came to Denmark, and we started in the big, first day we're just doing some shooting of, like some nice horse pictures. And then he said, Miriam, why don't we do an interview with you? And I thought, this is not something that we had talked about or anything, It's like, yeah, we can, whatever. Let's do a little interview. And while I'm sitting there, and we had the horse behind me, and I just started talking, and this is when the personal story, the authentic story, my story came out. And I remember this, like, it just went so quiet, there was like a friend of mine was doing the sound and then the camera, and the situation became like sort of really magical because it was true, it was there was no hiding behind words, there was no hiding behind any story, so it just came out. And after that interview, which was quite long, I think it was 40 minutes or something like that, we knew that we had to change our approach and our concept. So we knew that, whatever made us or made me tell the story in this way was, that was the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely magical, and also, everything came together. Like Arrow was so sweet and beautiful in this moment. Also, it's a wonderful movie, and I really think what's nice about it is you have this personal story about you, but you have so much air and so many beautiful pictures around the topic of animal healing also, and it's also not so much like you tell each and every beat of the movie, but you let the people who watch it fill in the gaps also, and that makes it very light and airy, and but also it gives you this one big story of your journey with Arrow, and so I really hope you will have a lot of fun and success with your movie. And but how did you feel kind of afterwards when it was all there, and it goes out there to be seen by people, and suddenly you are there as a person and share a story and see the reactions of moviegoers? How does that feel for you?
It was sort of, people had asked me, because it's a very personal story about me and my family and how I felt as a child, and sort of it was also revisiting, my parents got divorced, and I got sort of I was in between those my mother and my father basically. And as soon as it was on the film, it was gone from my subconscious or something like that, and I didn't have a problem showing it. Some people said, oh, but it's very personal, and how can you show it? And I thought I didn't have a problem. It was like, that's how it was, that's how I felt, and it felt good, just making a statement in a way. This is how I felt. I didn't like I didn't want to talk to my parents about it. It was just, that's how I felt. And for me, it was also kind of healing to make that point, to say, this is how it was. We don't have to go back, and we can't change it. Let's go forward. And this was just in the film, it was kind of a little bit like a sideline. because something that I started sort of thinking about while I was telling the story of my horse, and this sort of mirroring effect. I was quite surprised at that, how that happened. That, you know, my horse, you know, I was looking at my horse, and all of a sudden I was revisiting old feelings and situations in my own life. And later on, when I was talking to other people, horse people, they knew about this. You know, they were like, yeah, this is what horses do. They mirror your feelings. And I was like, wow, nobody has ever told me this, you know, that this could happen when you have a horse, that, you know, they show you. And first you think it's their feeling or situation. And then all of a sudden you think like, okay, so what does it have to do with me? Where, you know, maybe it's my feeling.
Okay. So, was it hard for you to put it all together then? I mean, you know, to make the decisions of what goes in and what, you know, has to be taken out of the movie before you decided, okay, this is the story I'm going to tell, and I'm going to tell it this way, and now that's what you do.
I went to Germany for the editing, and I was editing with Stefan, the DOP, and so he knew the material, so he knew the pictures, which was good. It was also difficult a little bit sometimes because we both had our favorite kind of pictures that we wanted to have in the film. You know, for me, it was sometimes a little bit hard to kind of do the cutting, you know, that like, this is not in the film, because I liked so many scenes and I liked so many different situations that we had in the film, but it would have been too long. So sometimes we had to do a little, so Stefan had to do a longer version, you know, edit the longer version, and then I had to see, okay, it doesn't work that well, you know, what he had said maybe before, saying, okay, you know, let's keep it really short, because so it was a process basically. And sometimes he wanted something longer, and I said, let's, you know, it was a really good teamwork, and so, and I think you don't know straight away a lot of times what should be in and what shouldn't be. It's, you try it out, and then it works or it doesn't. And so,
yeah, it's like I just talked with Heiko in the other video about creativity, and it's always, you know, you have to jump in and start doing something, and then things fall into place, or you know what has to go and what can stay. And well, maybe you tell us a little bit more about how did it happen that the movie went to the film festival Equus in New York? How did that happen?
I last year, this year had been only the third time that this the Equus Film Festival had taken place, and they only show horse related or horse films. And I found out about the festival via the internet. I think it was on Facebook that I saw like an ad or something like that. And I remember thinking, oh, this is really interesting. I would love to go to New York. But I thought, going all the way to New York to just, you know, watch some horse movies, I thought it's too far, you know, it's too expensive. And then this year, when I thought, okay, let's shoot the film, I thought my dream was, my wish was that my film would be shown there. And then we had a trailer, and I thought, okay, so why not send the trailer to the Facebook page of the Equus Film Festival, and you know, just as, look, this is what we're doing, and you know, maybe you like it, maybe we can, you know, get in touch. And so I sent the trailer was to the Facebook page, and Lisa Diersen, who's the founder and the director of the film festival, she actually got in touch with me basically straight away, and you know, we connected on Facebook, and she sent me an email saying, would you be interested in showing your film at the festival? I mean, at this point, we didn't have the film finished. You know, we had only the trailer, and I was like, yeah, I mean, of course, this is lovely. This is what, I wished for. So, and this, she hadn't seen the whole film. She only saw the trailer, and she said, she invited us to screen it at the festival. And of course, then I was feeling a little bit like, but if the film doesn't, turn out to be really great, what we're going to do. And well, luckily she also liked the film when it was finished. We basically, everything was last minute. The day before I was flying to New York, I had to go down to Germany to pick up the copy of the screening copy, because we had found out that there was like a little mistake in the screening copy, and everything was just like, last minute. But it worked. So, and it was a lovely screening.
Yeah.
And the people that seen, had seen the film liked it, and I got good feedback. And yeah, and I was on a panel discussion afterwards where we're talking about enlightened horsemanship, where we talked about different approaches to working with your horse.
Oh, fantastic. And I mean, your wish came true. Like, you want to watch some movies, horse movies in New York, and you just, put your own movie on screen there too. Amazing. So, are you going to do more horse movies, Miriam? Or what's up next?
Well, I think I'm going to do some more horse movies, because I feel that in that field there's still so much to discover. There's so much to find out still. My next project is actually a continuation of what I've done in Talking to Golden Arrow, where in Talking to Golden Arrow, I have discovered that there is a bond between horses and humans, and there's something happening when you're interacting, when you're having this bond with your horse. And the healing aspect also of this like close relationship. But I don't know what happened between me and my horse. What happened from all of a sudden we're friends, all of a sudden we're like, calm in each other's presence. And so, I'm feeling good when I'm with him. And, this is kind of, I don't know how that happens. So I actually started doing a bit of research, and I found two ladies in America that are scientifically researching the subject. This is Lisa Walters and Baldwin, and they're researching with the HeartMath Institute in California what happens, when people interact with horses. And they have done that with like little heart monitors, and you can see the heart rate, and like you can see the sort of influencing of the horse's heart rate to the human's heart rate. It's fascinating. So I want to do a film about exploring what happens from a scientific point of view as well between humans and horses, because it's quite amazing. But we've been using, or horses have been used for about 25 years in coaching situations. Mm-hmm. And there hasn't been any research done, like how do they work? I mean, most people say, yeah, it works. People feel better afterwards. They go to the horses and they feel good, but we don't know how. And so this will be an approach, or a situation where maybe we can explain this phenomenon a little bit more. So this is one project, but there's a couple more that I have in my head. And yeah, because I asked my horse, well, there's another funny little thing, because when we were shooting, my horse was not happy to be close to the camera. The camera was there, and he was just staring into the camera. He did not like the camera there. He was like really nervous about the camera. And so I communicated with him, and what came out was that it wasn't about him. when he had said, I want to be in a movie, it was sort of, I want you, it was meant as, I want you to make a film. Um,
He wanted to bring you back to filmmaking.
yeah.
Okay.
And so it's, my horse is like, he doesn't want to be on, he's not like the normal, superstar horse. He wants to be in the limelight. He's like, he doesn't really want it. But he's a very kind horse, and he has a big heart, and he always wants to have everybody, everybody together and, feeling good. And he would like me to do these horse movies just to raise awareness of the situation with horses, and how the relationship between horses and humans, how they can benefit from each other.
Yeah, I see. Well, I am sorry. I am super confident that you will do many more films than that. I am because I know you as a person who always, gets things done, and you are such a strong communicator, not only with horses but also with people, and you have the ability to pull people together to work on a project, and that's why you get so many cool things done, I think. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the next movies. And yeah, my question now is, what does your horse, get for Christmas? So what will you do, or how will you celebrate with Golden Arrow?
Actually, I think, well, I'm going to Germany, and my horse will be celebrating in Denmark, so we're not going to be
Oh,
like in the same place.
okay.
So he has to celebrate with his friends here, with his horsey friends. Um, I yeah, I didn't actually. I hadn't thought about what he's getting for Christmas. He's always getting a lot of things. So looking at his life, sometimes I think it's Christmas for him every day, because he gets the carrots, he gets the treats, mummy buys him like a blanket, and his field colleague, his friend destroys the blanket, and then he needs to get a new blanket. But my gift to Golden Arrow is that I'm there for him, that I am doing my best to be the friend that he deserves, and be the human friend that he wants. Or because today, actually, I asked him and I said, do you have a message that I should tell in the interview, because it's about him as well? And he said that his message was that every animal should have a human friend, and if you can go out and find an animal and befriend this animal, that's like kind of,
Yes.
that's Christmas, isn't it? To find that, and make him or her happy with something. And so
Yeah, they deserve some love and attention too, right? And they
yeah.
make our lives so much happier too. I mean, we are looking forward to getting some cats, but maybe not for Christmas, but next year. But I can't really wait to have such a little fella around. Yeah.
So but New Year's Eve I will be celebrating with my horse, because I'm here at the stable to make sure that the horses are happy and they're not scared. And so I will be um going around with my little glass, going like cheers to all of the horses, all 17 of them. Um, so
Yeah, wonderful.
and they get maybe they get apples or carrots, so some horsey treats.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Miriam. I would love to say cheers. I have a cup of tea today. Do you have something?
I have a cup as well.
Thanks so much for being here, and I loved your story about your movie. I mean, you have so many gorgeous stories to tell, but I think this is a wonderful one for our Christmas plotting party. And I wish you a wonderful Christmas and good start to the new year. And we will see each other again. And bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the interview, Susan. It was lovely, and it was really nice to be able to tell you the little story. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of your interviews on the Facebook page.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, it was
Bye
great.
bye.
Bye.